Do you think the Democratic Party prey on stuff like that with stuff like EBT and Section 8 where they could just keep people needing them?
What do you mean specifically? Is there a specific case you feel?
I mean, like just basically giving people Section 8, giving people EBT, and people who are perfectly fine and able to work, but I guess you could say in a way almost abusing these programs and therefore voting Democrat to keep that type of stuff in place.
Well, if you are a mother with a child, you deserve to have a warm house and food.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you're disabled, you deserve to have a warm house and food.
We're talking about people whose nothing is wrong with them, people who's able to work.
Extremely small minority of people that shouldn't even be counted. It should be just fine. Everybody should be given food and shelter, no matter what they are, even if they are moochers. I know sometimes you go, oh shucks, someone got it over on me, but like, maybe they just felt like they needed food, bro. That's how I feel. Like, one or two people getting the system over just for $300 a month. Understand, billionaires are getting off for multi-billions. You know what I mean?
That's a good point, yeah. With the inside trading and all that.
I know that's kind of a fallacy to go point at the other guy, but it's like...
I mean, both sides kind of point the finger, right?
It is easier to point the finger. And ultimately, people should try to support themselves, but if EBT was given to everybody, I bet people with money would really be bitching if they didn't get that $300 on time, you know what I mean? And then they would support the people who are disabled for getting stuff, you know what I mean? I know you giggling, but like it makes sense.
Oh my God.
Because systems that are meant for purely poor people will get neglected. So you make it for everyone.
So what did you suggesting? Like free housing
if they
for everybody?
I think it's possible. There are so many buildings that can be renovated, and it will make jobs because people have to manage the buildings. It will be government jobs probably. This is pie in the sky thinking, but ultimately the government could subsidize homelessness into almost non-existence. Beside people who want to be homeless are way too mentally ill to exist in a society. You know what I mean? But ultimately, it would cost less than anti-homeless measurements to house homeless people.
So what about like real estate people and people who own properties? Like what type of hit they would take? So you don't believe people should own property? No,
I believe it should be in the I know that's communism. There should be private property on occasion for individuals,
but not property for you to rent
owning giant swaths of properties, and one person owning like hundreds of different units of like housing. I find that utterly insane. Little landlords, like guys who have one or two buildings, maybe 5 buildings, they can stick around. Like, they tend to not abuse their people too bad. There is slumlords, but no one should ever have 100 houses. You know what I mean?
Could you elaborate on that? Why?
Well, giant corporations, they kind of come in and they buy everything, and then they up the price as much as possible because there's no competition in an area. And right now there are websites where a bunch
almost like a monopoly?
Yeah, it's like a monopoly. And then there's also like, what's it, insider trading? I forgot the specific word for it, but it's when a bunch of people of a specific thing, like if all the guys who sold light bulbs got together and negotiated how high they can price light bulbs.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You're not supposed to actually do that. I forgot, what's the lady? There was a lady in the last administration, the Biden administration, who was actually going after monopolies. Oh, I'm yabbering. I need to drink some water.
You got some water somewhere?
Somewhere.
Somebody said, do you rent or own a home? I mean, after you drink your water. Thanks for the $2 super chat.
I rent.
You rent?
My family rents. From a small landlord.
Yeah.
So if we want to go bother our landlord, we can literally just go upstairs and be like, hey, the plumbing's broken. And it'd be his incentive to keep his house working because he only has a few. I know slumlords still exist, but that's why you make regulations.
I mean, there's plenty of slumlords where I come from.
I know. I used to live in a slum, and it's like, oh, terrifying. I have PTSD from it. If you want to talk about your experience.
My experience as far as what?
About like slumlords, like how you feel.
I mean, where I come from, landlords don't even show up. They just give you an app where you can pay the rent and that's that. I mean, they're probably too scared to come to the same neighborhoods that they own the building in.
Yeah, and it might even be like literally, it probably is that big corporation that has like hundreds of buildings. And what happens a lot is that there's not even a person to it. It's an AI system. So if you miss even by one day, they will immediately start evicting people and destroying credit records. And I find that morally questionable.
So if everything was free and they were just giving people free housing and stuff, what happened when something go wrong with the property? The government pay for that also?
Yeah, probably. Either the people should be responsible within a certain extent for certain repairs, because let's be fair, if a light bulb burns out in your house, you should fix it. If you need to just tighten 1 or 2 lug nuts in your sink, you should be able to know how to fix that, or somebody in your building should know how to fix that. So there should be a guy on the building. Majority of the current landlord things already have a handyman that they call for everything. So the government should hire a handyman to come out at a reasonable time, or even live on the property. You know what I mean? Or
Somebody said, how do we support free housing? How do we do this?
How do we do this? I do not know where exactly to start because I'm not an expert on this, but I do truly believe in it. So where do we start? It could start with, possibly taking I struggle with neurolinguistic, so the neurons between like my mouth and my brain.
Yeah, it's okay. Take your time. I'm not ambushing you or nothing like that. I just want to know what you think. I'm not.
So what do I think? I think a good place to start could be properly actually punishing people who are known slumlords, because a lot of these guys, they tend to have a long record of abusing their tenants. And I think that could actually start with the government coming in and regulating the building on their behalf. Maybe not taking away the property from them completely. I wouldn't know the laws around that because I'm not a land lawyer. But it could come in with the government taking over properties that are intentionally being neglected at people's expense. It could.
Well, in my area, I'm starting to see more and more landlords who don't want to make their apartments eligible for Section 8 because what is happening to the apartments or the homes when the tenants move, like they get completely wrecked and destroyed in some cases.
It does happen, and I think that is the liability of renting property. I don't think it should be this $1 million scheme, you know? It's not right. It never is right.
My point is, how would it be any different if the government was getting a free house, and why do you think they wouldn't destroy it?
There wouldn't be that day where it comes a final day where nobody gets affected. It will happen, and we will deal with it. You know what I mean? And as simple as renovating the place.
The government again. So you give it to them for free, they mess it up, and then you pay to fix it, and then what? They get to stay there after you fix it?
I guess we'll have to debate about that. I don't know. Of course, people should be punished for property damage, but how much is reasonable of human, so how much of the destruction is reasonable for a human living there? And how much of it is,
I mean, some things will
destroyed?
happen, that's for sure, but
So that would have to be a case-by-case thing.
Yeah, for sure.
For whoever manages the building, whether that be the government or an independent landlord. So, you know what I mean? Do you want it going to Tesla for cars?
Who are we talking about? I mean, you can say whatever
Tesla.
you feel.
I'm talking about Amazon. I'm talking about Trump giving it to himself. That money could have gone 10 times as far being put into any other program, whether that be education, whether that be what's the thing that you think needs more funding right now?
I don't know, off the top of my head, I say education.
Education.
Especially in neighborhoods
That $1
like
billion could have gone into education instead of a billionaire's pocket. Unless I run for government, all I can really do is protest and bitch and moan. And I think it is our right to protest and bitch and moan.
What about Prisco and Brandon Johnson?
Prisco and Brandon Johnson. Who are those two people? I'm bad at correlating names.
The mayor is Brandon Johnson and the governor is Pritzker right here in Illinois.
Pritzker has been very spineless. He's been saying the right thing and then not doing the right thing.
Totally agree.